Um, well, cool. Thanks for everyone joining here. Seeing some new faces, and good to see some familiar faces. Um, for those who are new, welcome to Physics 101. No, just kidding. This is 1 Million Cups. And let me just share my screen real quick. And yeah, for those who are new, this is a community of early stage entrepreneurs who um, are here to support each other and get some help with our presentations, with our business, and our ideas here. So, welcome, welcome. Brew some coffee, get some subscribe to us on social media so you get updates on what we're doing. I guess I should actually introduce myself as well. My name's Victor. I am an emotional intelligence coach, and I work with those who identify as Asian men on developing leadership and emotional communication, and relationships. And among other things, I also guide cannabis meditations and teach cannabis education as well. Um, but I am also a volunteer here with Women Cups and really love being here. So mark your calendar for every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Um, and we will be here. Um, what were we about? We're here to share stories. We're here to offer help. We're here to ask for help. We're here to build community and support each other. Um, this is something that I very much loved and appreciated in my start of the entrepreneurial journey, um, not knowing what the hell I was doing. So this is really cool to be supported by everyone here. Um, what makes us different is that we're presentations, and we're not here to pitch or raise funds or um, you know yeah, so we're here to just present. We're here to just get our feedback on where we're at. We're here to connect, not quote unquote network. So these are here for our genuine connections here. We're here for the community and by the community. um, all of us are volunteers for to to host these meetings, um, and we are radically and intentionally inclusive. So trying to be um, accepting and embracing of all peoples wherever you are in your journey, wherever you are in your entrepreneurship and business, or even in life. We are here for you. So the One MC Nation has about 168 communities around the US with more than 3,500 attendees and 700 volunteers. Super cool to see this going on across the different time zones. Um, Here to seek education, presentations, and connections. The three sort of themes we have. So this week we'll do some presentations and some connections, and there are other weeks where we actually do have our special guests provide some education around certain business topics as well. If you're actually interested, definitely reach out, and we'd love to tap into your own expertise as well. If you want to present something or teach something, that could be a cool sort of alternative or break from our presentations as well. Um, More than 8,000 entrepreneurs have shared their ideas on this stage, and super excited to be here to connect with others as well. Um, the question we like to ask is, do you have all the answers and feel like you know exactly what you're doing? Uh, if not, then you're totally fine. You're in the right place. And this is where you can ask your questions, and feel safe to explore in that way. So thank you to our sponsors, Seattle Strong, who sponsors our coffee when we are in person. Um, Human Up, who sponsors the email campaign software. That's my business, and a small studio who um, sponsors our meetup for more connections there. These are our other volunteers um, who are putting this on every week, and it does take quite a bit of work to put these together, and is always looking for more support and those who want more business experience, or um, want to put their skills to the test in a community. I know for many of us as entrepreneurs, it's um, a lot harder to do things on our own. So this has been really cool to be connected with these guys here and girls, y'all here, and put these things together. So definitely reach out if you're interested to volunteer. But what can you expect today? Coffee and conversation, 6-minute presentation from one of our entrepreneurs, and a 20-minute Q&A afterwards. And then there's more connection into breakout rooms at the end. So keep an eye out for that. Some tips is to just maintain your energy and focus here. Limit distractions. Um, excuse me. And limit the different, we try to multitask, and I know we all have things going on, but here is a place for the entrepreneur to really put themselves out there, and that takes a lot of um, focus and energy themselves. And so listen for also what stands out. What is something that you want to learn more about? What could you share from your own expertise as well? Just so we can all make our time here worth it. When you have a question, there is the raise hand feature in Zoom. So if you look at the bottom, you'll see the reactions tab, and there'll be a raise hand feature. If you haven't updated your Zoom yet, it will also be in the participants tab, and you'll see the raise hand button there. But that way we can kind of keep track of our questions and whatnot as well. So without further ado, we will welcome to the stage our entrepreneur, if I can find him on my thing here. Steven, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Should I share my screen?
Yes, go for it.
All right, let's do it. Well, thank you, Seattle. I'm coming from Minneapolis today. I sincerely appreciate the opportunity to be a virtual guest in your fine city, fine region. So I'm going to be talking about GoodCarts today. Let me push a little, I got a little timer here to keep me on track, right? 6 minutes. Let's go. All right. So I'm talking about GoodCarts, and it's a startup founded by Chris Dykstra. I'm the CEO. I came on about 2 years ago from the nonprofit world, actually, Tech for Good. Now I've brought Tech for Good into the retail space. And I could say that the big problem we're trying to solve is the earth is on fire and we're all going to die, right? But the reality is that you have a lot of people who are inspired by the fact that there is a huge problem with sustainability and the need for greater impact in the world. And so you have a gazillion brands that are launching that need to get to new conscious consumers. And so the whole model is that we have 75 members of our current class of our network of GoodCarts. And their challenge is how do they get to new customers? So example here, Bella, who has a new top left hand corner, a new vegan cookie mix brand. They're going to actually have pancakes and muffins and the like. On the top right hand side, you have Marcy, who's been in the fair trade sustainable fashion space for 25 years, is actually has a QVC line with fair trade. She's sort of positioned as the Martha Stewart of fair trade. They're a member of GoodCarts. You have Dean's and Beans, an East Coast fair trade brand, a very activist brand. And you have Carla. And all these folks are basically, in this age trying to reach new people, soak it up cloths, reusable paper towels. That's Carla's. So the challenge is, how do these growing number of impact brands get discovered? Purely in light of the fact that digital advertising costs are skyrocketing, as well as the marketplace costs. You've probably heard of Amazon, right? So there's lots of baby Amazons, even in the ethical brand space, that are marketplaces, but they all want their 20%. And it gets challenging for them, if you have impact, to maintain enough margin for profit as well as impact. So our solution with GoodCarts, the approach to the philosophy is a grow together philosophy. And we're starting with a cross-promotion engine. So if someone asks you, what was that GoodCarts thing about? You could say, well, I kind of talked about, it sounded kind of like a smart version of digital version of coupons on the back of the receipt. So if you imagine 75 stores in a circle, as people exit those stores, they actually share traffic into a discount page. And I'm actually going to show you right now a miniature demo, but you can get the 5-minute version at goodcarts.co/demo. Imagine you're at a Shopify store, you just bought a shirt of some kind, and when you click on your buy, your receipt comes up, and this is where the GoodCarts experience starts. Our technology inserts a little thank you banner. As thanks, we're offering exclusive discounts from other sustainable Shop for Good stores. Click here to choose. We have an extremely high click-through rate on this banner, on this button. We talk about conscious consumers with their credit cards still out in a buying mood, right? And I'll tell you offline what that percentage is if you like. So people click on that and they go to their store. They go to the coupon page. They're discovering brands they probably haven't heard of before. All these brands are sending traffic here and taking that moment, that web exhaust, where normally you just close that tab, and we're recycling that traffic back into where you can pick one discount. And the discount gives people that little extra push to try out a new brand, to try out potentially a more expensive brand because it's, has an impact or higher quality, more sustainable, and gives them that incentive to try it out. So you'd pick a coupon, you'd go to the store and check out our online demo to get a better, deeper look at that. So when I talk to stores, I talk about how it's free to join GoodCarts, free to join, free coupon views, free visitors to your site. And our founder, Chris Dykstra, well, prior to that, with COVID, I decided to cancel our commissions because we used to have a commission-based model. And then he decided, you know what? I had an epiphany. He said, you know what? Let's make it no commissions for impact retailers. I can tell you it's a lot easier to recruit new stores into our network. In fact, we've had some good momentum. We launched a Shopify app in September, and we now, and a whole bunch of marketing and the like. So we now have 75 stores where I had 20 a year ago, and we're on our way to 100 and then to 1,000 is kind of our goal. But with this revenue pivot, my final slide basically will put out there the fact that, hey, what do we do when we have 1,000 stores in our network? What kind of relationships can we build that will generate the revenue? And I'll actually, jump to that right now and kind of talk about things that we might need help with, right? So ultimately, if people have advice on people we could connect with in terms of stores and brands, it could be people who do digital marketing. It could be people who actually run ethical, impact-oriented brands. As long as they sell in North America, we'd love to, have an introduction. So we're looking for suggestions there. On revenue, I intentionally skipped a lot of that because we'll have some good Q&A on that. We do have a bunch of ideas about how we leverage those relationships, but I'm really, really interested in what ideas that you might have. I feel like you have had any experience sort of in the e-commerce ecology. And then networking and advisors. So right now we're part of a software development company called WearCorp. That's the founder's company, a founder and funder, if you will. And we're sort of like the startup incubated within that space, but eventually we're going to spin this out as its own standalone B Corp. That's the goal. And we'd love to talk to experts or people who have gone through that process and really just looking for templates as we try to hard bake in impact in the whole of our business structure. And finally, not as a pitch for investors in GoodCarts, but we're trying to identify people who have invested in, stopping my timer here. Oops, I did the wrong button. I'll bring that back. Sorry. One second here. I stopped the timer, which is beeping in my ears there. Anyway, so we're looking for folks that may have invested in the kinds of stores that should be part of our network. And because anybody who knows networks of stores, if you will, or networks of brands, we're looking for introductions so that we could be recommended to the investees. So there you go. That's GoodCarts.
All right.
Yay, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for bringing in that energy, by the way. That was a great sort of
no problem
coffee model there. I need to have my own coffee, but cool. Again, raise your hand on the reactions tab, and then we'll call on first come, first serve. So Katie, go ahead.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve, for your presentation. So I think that I imagine there's going to be lots of questions because there's lots of people here today. So I'm going to limit myself to one question, even though I have a million. But my initial kind of gut reaction is, what's the catch, right? Like, you're no commissions, you're offering it for free, right? Like, I think that might be I'm not a product-based business, so I can't, but I could see how other businesses you're pitching to could say that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how do you respond to that?
So in our FAQ, I have a question: is this too good to be true?
Right.
And I agree with you, right? When there were commissions, it was pretty upfront. It was results based. It only cost you something if you got a sale. So it comes on the revenue piece. So we are planning to launch bonus options. So things that you might pay a monthly fee for. We're exploring other revenue opportunities related to e-commerce in terms of like partners recommending various apps that someone might use, and then we get a cut because you moved to Shopify or you use this app, kind of that lead generation space.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that recently we've gotten feedback from the Fair Trade Federation that on their internet they're talking about us in positive ways, or through goodmarket.global. Someone mentioned that we're their top source of like coupons that are redeemed. It's Wagster, and they do. It's a homeless shelter. It's a homeless shelter network that trains people in culinary skills, and then they go and they work and create these gourmet dog treats to graduate, if you will. And so we're getting that confirmation that like says, hey, we're trustworthy.
Yeah.
But I've really, obviously I had a lot of concern about like, well, what's the catch here? Yeah, I agree with that. And, we'll continue to present that. The key thing is social proof, being able to say we now have 75 stores. And when we hit 100, we're launching a 100 stores, 100 impact stories campaign to basically really put it out there that, hey, together we can grow. And then because our founder, and our supporter for this is like, I'm in this for the long haul. Yes, we will generate revenue. Yes, we will figure out how to do this. And yes, we will do it in a way that preserves our ethics and our goals, our values.
Very cool. Awesome. Great answer. Thank you.
Leif.
Hey, good morning. It's a great presentation. I love this concept. It's really cool. It's like, there's no negative, like you're just connecting people afterwards. It's wonderful. My question for you then is, so you're adding all these members, these purpose-driven brands. What's your usual biggest pushback or no that you hear from people? Or is it very likely that if you get someone talking to that, they're going to jump on?
So, first of all, the loser in our model are Facebook, Google, and Amazon. So I just want to say I don't feel too sorry for them, But basically, we're doing an end around the advertising, if you will. The pushback that we got when we had commissions was our margins. So basically, you take 15% commission, and then you add on another 15% for the discount, and suddenly that's their margin, right? And a lot of these younger stores don't have, they're not all young, but they don't have they don't sell at a loss for a first-time customer, wherein people who are advertising with bigger brands will gladly sell at a loss because they'll turn them into a repeat customer. So that's a challenge. Pushback would be time. So that's one reason we adopted the Shopify app. It's like, going from, taking 15, 20 minutes to kind of get set up, but then having to get your technologists involved in order to integrate into the receipt. And so by using the Shopify app, that happens at the transparent, just automatically when you push the app button. And it's really just about those 15 minutes it takes you to pick a couple of images and put them on your coupon and decide what offer you're going to have. The other pushback would be if they're a premium brand, some of them are like, we just don't do discounts. And we have some that only do them with us, but don't do them elsewhere because we're not in Google, right? You got to put an email address in to claim the coupon. And so it's a little safer, if you will. And then the last thing would be we have some wholesalers that sell online directly, and they obviously don't want to undercut their brick and mortar partners, if you will, or other stores. And so they'll use us to discount just their clearance rack and things like that. Got it.
A really quick side question on that. So are these brands actually are any of these retailers for these brands, or these are all direct to consumer brands? Because you talk about wholesalers versus.
Yeah, it's a real mix. I mean, a lot of them are say African Bronze Honey, they don't have a brick and mortar store of their own, but they certainly sell in stores. They certainly sell via marketplaces, and they sell do a lot of trade fairs and things like that. But it's a mix. We certainly want bigger and bigger stores to join our network that would obviously have their own physical presence.
Right. All right. Thank you. I'll save my second question for at the end of the line.
Great.
Jay.
Hi, everybody. I'm starting my video right now because I'm out on a dog walk with my two cute puppies. And I was going to just listen in, but I could not hold back because I have to say how that's fantastic. I love what I love the presentation, and I can think of a whole bunch of different ways that we might talk more about ways to connect you with folks that are like-minded and doing
Great.
Similar things. So let's do that. But then also one of those, you probably are already thinking about these folks, but the Seattle Good Business Network, have you connected with them?
I have not. I'm not sure when you joined. I'm from Minneapolis, so any introductions to groups like that in different cities would be awesome.
You got it. So let's do that. And then also on the 16th, so I'm Jay Lyman. I'm with the Seattle Public Library. Great. And I'm working with some local partners to do a work, or it's an event on the 16th, and it's called The Business of Community. And so it's an open house concept. We're having speakers who are going to kind of share about how they've pivoted their business, but also resource partners that help people develop businesses. Everyone's invited, but your presentation, you should come to this. It's a great place for you to.
Please do follow up on that. That's awesome. I forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, yeah, I'm very excited to connect anywhere possible. Oh, I know. I have a link I'll share in the chat, Calendly. And so you just set it, grab a 30. Cool. Anyone here, I've had them after every time I've presented I've done a few of these, and I've had a couple of meetings at least with each city side by side, and just grab a 30 minutes and we'll chat. And I love connecting.
Awesome. Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity. I run a program that helps people succeed in business. And so I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs that could benefit from, your service as well.
Great.
A lot of folks that are really entering the market or pivoting. So I guess that's one question is how small, I work with some folks that are sewing masks out of their home, and would they be a good fit for this?
Well, so the stores that send us more traffic end up having their coupons show up higher in the page, the top 3 currently. We're working on some coupon matching technology that will do a better job instead of presenting the coupons that people who leave the coffee brand buy Soak It Up cloths or whatever, right? But we always need to make sure that in that new entrants get exposure, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we have an unadvertised circle of stores called the Founders Network, where basically anyone who doesn't fit our Shop for Good criteria and they're not selling adult mature products, which is
Yeah.
an issue.
Yeah.
I basically say, hey, you know, we embrace small business, you know, come on in, and we have about 25 stores in that network. The challenge is they all have almost no traffic, because if you search free traffic on the Shopify App Store, you know, we're the number 4 hit, right? And so we're getting lots of people who just are getting started. There's stores that say coming soon. So my rule of thumb is, like, if you have a product and you can ship it, you can join us. If you have, I mean, like, it could be like 1 sale a month. That's fine, right?
Yeah.
But just to note that right now is the time to get in, because everything is mostly random with a little bit of a boost for the big stores. And over time, obviously, you know, the amount of traffic you share with us will have an impact on how much exposure you get at a top level.
Cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, I'll find your Calendly link, and let's talk further about other ideas too.
Great. I used to work in the Winona State Library when I was a college student. Love libraries.
Awesome. I do too. That's how I got into this, honestly. Yep. Although, look at this beautiful day we're having here in Seattle.
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw a snowball at you.
Yeah.
All right, Harish. Hope I said that right.
Yeah, that's correct. Thanks, Victor. Hey everyone, I'm Harish. This is my first time with the 1 Million Cups, and apologies for my camera. I just came in without expecting much, so I try to put on the camera on. So Stephen, I just had a simple question to you. This sounds great, and as a consumer, I was just trying to just see, like, where can I go and check out the products for GoodCarts.
Mm-hmm.
But the website, it seems to be mostly focused on the Shopify, the businesses that needs to enlist. Is there a way I can go check out the products?
Yes, so that's a great question. So because our discounts are earned post-checkout, we are not your classical ethical brand directory or marketplace where you shop. We are planning, though, with our launch of our 100 stores, 100 stories, is to have a better showcase. So if you go to I think it's a button now that says members on the top of the page, you can kind of just see like a little Pinterest board of some sample products and logos from our sampling of our members. We're going to update that. But the key is that, you earn your discount by being a customer at one of these places. But from time to time, we may experiment with other ways to get in. The key issue is that our stores, for the most part, don't want, when someone is checking out from their store, they see the promo box, they go into Google and say, oh, I was already planning to buy something. Now where can I find the discount, right? And so part of our promise to our members is that this is really a sort of a unique way to access this, and it's not in Google. On the other hand, we could easily put together over time a showcase, like I said, that just lets you find them and check them out.
All right. Yeah, that's good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Tessa.
Hello, Stephen. Nice to. I'm all about sustainability. People who've been on these calls with me before are just like, Tessa's probably like, the problem with this one is that I'm on the consumer end, and so it's different because you're looking at like getting the actual. Although, granted, I do know a hell of a lot of sustainable brands, a couple of which I've thought to send your way.
Please do.
I love the small ones. Anyway, my just out of interest is like, because I don't really understand how these perfectly how it works, like where you get your money. Right. So I'm going with like, it's how many people go through your app or like through your website, and there's like money in that, the number of people who are going through it.
So it's, I'll use this opportunity to say a little bit more about some of our revenue ideas. I have a question. Are you in Seattle with those palm trees behind you there?
No, I'm in Hawaii. I'm like cheating.
Okay.
Wow. I did look around when someone said it's a nice day in Seattle, and I was like, yeah, it is. Wait, I'm not in Seattle.
Well, great. So imagine we have 1,000 stores in our network. Obviously, one of our goals is to provide features that stores would pay for, maybe a monthly fee of say $15, $15 for X. And so one of the ideas is around analytics and basically the information that would help a store optimize their coupon, understand whether it's performing better or worse than the others in order to basically get to more collections and redemptions. So that might be sort of an enhanced level of service. We have an ability to create multiple circles. So I mentioned the Founders Circle. I mentioned the Shop for Good Circle. We would love to work with partners that have existing relationships with stores. So we've actually talking to the Better Business Bureau. They have a pilot, BBB for Good, working with some folks in Colorado. We thought, hey, maybe we could do a thing where, join our main network, but eventually we could have a dedicated circle. They might be interested in a revenue share where they decide, okay, there is a fee, but participate, and we do a revenue share with a partner that brings in, 500 stores. I mean, if that's possible, right? So if you know stores already, you're part of a network, talk to us because our technology is built, it works, and our biggest cost is how do you bring in the new stores. Some other ideas is in the e-commerce platform with Shopify. Like if we say, for example, someone came to us on a different platform, and we said, hey, we can help you get onto Shopify. Their partner program gives you like 15% of what that store pays forever. And so all the apps in the Shopify ecology also, a lot of them offer partner programs where if you basically generate a lead for them that leads to a sale and they credit it properly, you can get ongoing revenue. So we imagine basically an e-commerce app showcase. We have things called the Good Guides on our site. We have a 6th one coming out soon. They're like, 10, 15 pages that go really in depth. And one of them reviews Shopify apps for good. Another one is Shopify apps, or good stores go rogue by just finding the most effective Shopify app. So over time, we could basically help people with that. We could do custom app work. Because we're part of a software development company, even when we spin out as a B Corp, it also could be lead generation essentially for custom software work. Plus, with our coupon matching engine, we're messing with Tiger Graph and graph databases, partly as a case study for working with graph databases and matching up with healthcare data for better treatments, right? So we have this weird ecology going on where, as we develop stuff, we may be able to basically make our money in other ways. Last thing I'll say is that what about traditional retail? The other 95%, we certainly see opportunities for the Founder Circle and other things to have more fees or commissions, and we'll evaluate that as we go along. But the goal right now is to get to 100 stores and get to 1,000 and really work with what people ask us in terms of what they need and what they'll pay for.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so there's a lot of different opportunities there. And I think as a consumer, as a person who deals a lot with these brands and in this area and have my own frustrations and knowledge about the drama that goes in the zero waste and or sustainability area. So a couple of things that are interesting from the consumer side that could be something that could be interesting for the
Yes,
brands if they come on is the differentiation between plastic free and not. There's a huge chunk of people in the sustainability area that are hell, they will do anything to purchase plastic free. And so say you have your thank you afterwards, and then you go, would you like this kind of coupon, this kind of coupon, this kind of coupon? And then the person's like, oh yeah, I can press the plastic free coupon. I'm only going to see coupons from people that I know are going to ship me without plastics, their products without plastic, etc. And have some other options for people who are I'm all about the money going to oceans and getting rubbish out of the oceans. And so that might be a way to help and be more even better for the consumer. And also this interesting fact, I know I have a brand a company that I buy from, literally pay hundreds of dollars to get every other month to get 5 or 6 things. And so I pay a lot of money for them, and they're plastic free, but they sell other people's products. So they go and find products from elsewhere. And so it's them putting that up, like you said, there's the problems with, some that brand already being on there. But I think that one of their biggest challenges is getting rid of their older stock and their things on sale. And so when you said, because they are a small business, they need to get things through when they get different kinds of products, and those 6 or 7 things aren't happening.
Yep.
So have that as a say, that's I think is a really great sell point for those particular brands who aren't necessarily creating their own products, but are and the thing is that they have a lot of loyalty in their customers, loyalty clout. So if you get them and they say, we're now on GoodCarts, this is where we're going to be doing our thing from now on, those customers they'll just take it, they'll accept it because they trust that brand so much. So just a couple of thoughts. I probably have a million more, but I feel like they're on a different end to what you're looking for right now. But I can still send some
yeah, no, introductions and or just references. I love the idea of a plastic-free filter, you know, with the coupons. Or so we've had the vegan community. I said to us, as long as all the other coupons were vegan, we'd join. And so that actually was the inspiration for the circles. I thought I want to have a vegan dedicated circle and have that option. And so the challenge obviously is how do you get like 20 vegan stores together or brands, you know, initially. But I you know, I definitely like the idea of filtering, and then obviously you're right. If someone joins, it gives us credibility. And the clearance thing works great. You know, we have like 3 stores that basically just have it dedicated to clearance items, and they set up their coupon that way, so the code only works that way. And what a triple win, right? I mean, you know, you get the deal finders coming through, and they introduce you to a new brand, and you clear out some space on your shelf rather than, you know, honestly throw the stuff away, you know. So
absolutely, yeah.
Or
I have one
donate.
more thing, but I forgot. But if I remember,
it'll come back. Don't worry.
Thanks, Stephen.
Come back for the breakout room. Yeah. How about Evan? What's your question?
Cool. Yeah, I really like the idea of filtering on leads that like right when people have just paid. I think that's like super key. Not that you probably don't know that.
That's right.
The question is like, how do you guys determine a brand is good or not? Because the problem I have as a consumer is like cutting through people's marketing, and that just takes like 30 minutes, right? Every time. So I'm curious what you guys are doing for that, as well as kind of the binning and sorting that other people here have mentioned.
Let me first give some kudos to some other apps and brands that do this intensely, right? So Good On You is an app, came out of Australia, that does a whole big profile. Donegood.co is an ethical brand marketplace. So you buy from one place, and they ask, like, you know, they do some deep investigation, ask 6 different things, and you know, and they try to document that. We also are a member of the goodmarket.global, which when you apply, you have to like answer 500 questions, right? And it's basically a transparent way to sort of say, you know, what your commitments are, from clean energy use to recycling to how you treat workers. And their model is like, if they claim they're doing something and someone says, no, you're not, then you kind of have to prove it. So with our model, it's a little more along those lines. You know, I have like 8 different characteristics. I'll talk about like, are you fair trade, which is sort of the gold standard, sustainability commitment, which would be like the softer one, right? Buy one, give one, nonprofit owned, percent to charity, B Corp. And so we look for, you know, we have members of the Social Enterprise Alliance. We're going to soon have a dedicated page for Fair Trade Federation members. We have a partnership with Social Venture Circle and the American Sustainable Business Council. Like, you know, if you're members of those groups, you qualify, kind of thing. But we are leaving it in some ways up to the market. I mean, obviously you get that choice and you get to judge, you know, which one do I want to pick? We certainly expect a time where as we scale that we'll make some mistakes, and there's some folks that will be in the good circle that really should be in the founders circle or some other circle. And obviously our commitment is to do our best, because I can tell you that the brands that are in there now, if we make big mistakes where their customers end up seeing crap, you know, we're going to hear from them right away, and it could really damage, you know, our ability to maintain the network. But ultimately, you know, we ask people who, when they do their coupons, to mention not only their product, but also their impact mission in their extended statement. And then over time, we're going to collect more things from them that just would allow you to kind of more quickly kind of decide, okay, which one do I want to pick, right? And I think it's a very legitimate question, and it will be one that we will work on the entire time we're operational.
Yeah, I would just say that the better that you can surface that to the user at the point of purchase, the more success you'll have with this type of clientele. Would be at least for me, right? If I don't have to do any digging, that's value add you can do to the consumer.
Thank you.
Awesome. Coming up on our time here. So Leif and Tessa got some quick questions. Quick questions then? All right, great. This one might not be quick, sorry.
I'm interested in the B Corp thing. So I had not thought of B Corp in a long time, and I'm curious have you started that process, and what's it been like for you so far, or anything you can talk about, and maybe like a sentence on what B Corp is to you.
Sure. Well, it's a public benefit corporation. Basically, you bake in sort of your stakeholders into your corporate structure, not just your shareholders. You know, we're joined up a little B Local B Corp group in Minneapolis. I actually have a session tomorrow, and we're really in that investigation stage. Our founder has created a B Corp before, but you know, WareCorp, for example, is just an LLC. And so, you know, but he's he wants to really do this, and I agree with it, right? You know, as a way to sort of just, I guess, go, you know, put it down there that we truly have this commitment, you know, we will hire with those values in mind. We will sell. One of my, I guess, ideas is that as we deal with more traditional retail, how can we expose sustainable supply opportunities, product opportunities to traditional retailers, so the drop shippers aren't just shipping, you know, crap from China. Maybe they're actually getting some good fair trade products in their mix, you know. So we will like try to build that in, but we are at early stages on B Corp.
Okay, got it. Wonderful, thank you.
All right. This is awesome conversations, awesome questions by everybody. Great presentation, Stephen.
Thank you.
One question we like to ask all of our presenters, and you did touch on this a little bit, but what can the 1 Million Cups community do for you?
So the number one thing that would help us get to 100 stores is if you do know anyone that has some sort of impact, sustainability-oriented brand that sells online, send them to our website or do a virtual introduction. Warm intros are gold. And then they can obviously check out the site and to sign up, or I'd be glad to do a little private demo for them. And the second thing would be, you know, what can I also do for you? So in exchange, obviously I'd be glad to connect on Zoom via my Calendly link that I shared at any time, and grab a time and we can chat. I'm also very active on LinkedIn, making introductions all the time for others. So let's connect.
Love it. Yep, we've shared all the links in the chat for you to reference. And question we ask the community: what can you do for the 1MC community? Idea, suggestion: bring a friend next week. Definitely love continuing these meetings every week and having others who can connect with like-minded people and get inspired by other people's missions here would be awesome. So come next week and meet other entrepreneurs. If you are interested to apply like Stephen did here, go to 1millioncups.com/Seattle. We have a few presentations booked out for March, so definitely put in the application now if you want to get in at least for April. All you need is just that you are trying something new, you're willing to ask for help, and you want to learn by doing. Building the bus as it goes. So if you're interested to also get involved as a volunteer, improve your business skill as an organizer, email us at seattle@1millioncups.com. And if you're interested to also present or teach something as part of our education part, definitely email us at seattle1millioncups.com as well. And now we will get into the breakout rooms. This is where we can connect with others on a deeper level, share your own story, connect with what you're working on as well, and just continue the conversation. From here, you can then move on with your day afterwards as well. So let me just set that up. And this will be a really great way to connect with other people.